Welcome back to the Crypto Ski Conversation. I'm going to quickly jump into this one right here. I want to start with this one from Johnny here. It says, why is the World Economic Forum inviting a charlatan like Brad Garlinghouse, who's running a company that holds huge amounts of scam coin XRP with zero use case and takes advantage of its holders? Maybe because it's the future of payments and the narrative you've been fed by Maxis is entirely wrong. Now you might think my line of reasoning is entirely off base because Sam Bankman-Fried was invited everywhere, and look at that disaster. Except Ripple has been the target of a desperate SEC for the past couple years, and nothing criminal has been found. FTX and FTT equal ashes. Ripple and XRP equals the Phoenix. So remember, this community talks a lot about the Phoenix rising out of the ashes. And I put well played, young man, on this one, because a lot of people within the comments, if you come down here and read it, think, they read the beginning and they think that this person's pretty much like throwing shade at Ripple and XRP, but he's not. So shout out Johnny for that. It's hilarious. I wanted to bring this up here. This is from Stuart Alderati here. It says, and this is replying to Bloomberg Crypto here, where it says, an upcoming ruling could help determine the answer to an urgent question. Who should regulate the crypto industry? Stuart Alderati, who's Ripple's general counsel, says, no matter how you dissect it, the experts agree the outcome of the Ripple case will likely have a significant impact on crypto's future in the U.S. And that, that's plain as day. We've been talking about that for the past two plus years, especially John Deaton, and especially being the leader of the class action lawsuit. I mean, he's been trying to stress to the community since the lawsuit had dropped how huge it is and how pivotal this case can have on the entire industry. And this is kind of what's been evident. So based on, obviously being in litigation right now, Ripple versus SEC, based on the litigation that's been happening with Library and the SEC and so on, and seeing Gary Gensler's and the SEC's actions in regards of continuing to reach out their arms and get a stranglehold on the entire industry. I mean, it'd be tragic and detrimental to all investors, even the ones that the SEC and Chairman Gensler claim that they're going to protect. It'd be detrimental to all of us, especially I guess you could say the entrepreneurs, the blockchain companies, the crypto companies, especially the ones that are truly out there trying to set, precedent and set a good image of like people that are trying to solve real world problems. Based on like Sam Bankman-Fried, and the FTX collapse and Celsius and Terra Luna and all these stuff, right? You get a bad rap within the crypto industry. There's a lot of negativity that happens, scams, rug pulls, all that stuff. But it's like, it shouldn't overcloud all the good actors in the space that are trying to do things right, like Ripple, for instance, and the digital asset XRP and other projects and the likes. I mean, it's just unfortunate that our reality in the crypto space is a lot of shady behavior, especially with us being in such a infancy stage of our market. We are sitting over I don't know why it's doing that. We are sitting over $1 trillion market cap, which is huge, but I mean, we're still super early in comparison to a lot of the other markets out there. But it might sound cheesy, but like this case is truly going to set a ripple effect across the entire crypto industry, and it's quite evident. Moving on here, this is from Libraries responding to Charles Gasparino here, where Charles says, absurdity of the XRP community hatred for all things and people associated with Ethereum can be found in the fact that every person I know associated with ETH wants Ripple to prevail over the SEC because what it will mean for crypto regulation and probably the ETH coin. Library says, matter of fact, let me I'm going to tell my perspective on this. I'm sure there's actors out there from the XRP community that do show a lot of hatred or throw a lot of shade at, ETH. But when I would like to say where they're coming from is just the whole ETHgate scandal. It's not the digital asset Ethereum. It's the team, the shady people that were having closed door meetings and shady, I guess you could say, setting shady deals with government officials and the conflicts of interest and the corruption and them trying to create a monopoly within the space and slamming the door on the rest of the entire of the industry. Like, those are the things that ignites and continues to fuel the hatred. It's not about the digital asset ETH. There's a lot of people like myself that hold Ethereum and that utilize Ethereum in the ecosystem and that want Ethereum to be successful, right? But on a level playing field. And that's what it's all about. Library here goes, our impression is the XRP community holds resentment towards Ethereum based on Ethereum because Ethereum gets to play by the rules that no one else does. Whether Ethereum gets different rules due to SEC corruption or just dumb luck, it doesn't really make sense to blame Ethereum. It's the SEC's fault either way. Absolutely. I agree with this last statement here. It's that's what it is. But this whole resentment thing, I don't know if it's about resentment towards the digital asset Ethereum, and that's just my opinion. It's what's behind it, the actors behind it, and what they tried to do, and they got caught. And hopefully they get, what's coming to them, quite honestly. This is from Crypto Law right here. It says another way to destroy to destroy use cases for digital assets. Use government power to interfere in the U.S. market for cross-border payment rather than allow American innovators to solve the problem. I mean, straight up. And I want to speak on something really quick. When I make these videos, it's literally one take. If I completely butcher it, I may, restart it, but this is literally one take. No editing, none of that. So, obviously I'm having a hard time kind of reading right now. So you just kind of deal with me, and that's kind of what it is. But I wanted to let y'all know that. Coming over here, this is from John Deaton. It says the United Kingdom, UAE, and Ukraine all want to become the world's crypto hub. In the meantime, the United States, and then he has the ... So he should have put like a couple crickets right here. And that's the truth, man. It's like, what is the U.S. doing? Are we really trying to be behind the 8 ball and allow this innovation and technology to go elsewhere? It's already happening. This is from Eleanor Turret. So she had put out this tweet. I'm going to go to it really quick. On January 15th at 9:45, pretty much. She says, the new Madoff on Netflix show is blowing my mind. I know the basic premise of what he did, but not the significant lengths he went in order to cover up the fraud. More than a few parallels to Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX, including a very blindsided SEC. So she had commented, blindsided SEC, worth the watch. And I think she says something. Yeah, she continues and says, I'm only on the first episode, so haven't gotten too much into the SEC's role yet. We'll come back with more thoughts when I'm finished. When I finish this series this evening. So remember, she says very blindsided, including a very blindsided SEC. So coming over here, she states, having finished the series, I very much take back the SEC being blindsided comment. Consider my mind officially blown. You see, she made a comment, right? Based on her perspective and her understanding on things, right? Then she watches the series, sees more information, and she changes her mind on things, right? I feel like if a lot of people would take this very adult-like approach, right, and try to take in more information and not just be, kind of stuck in their own world and be a little bit more open-minded, right, to things, you might be surprised at how much you learn. I feel like if a lot of the communities, obviously we have different communities within crypto, if the communities had a little bit more open-mindedness and they actually did a little bit more research and just looked into things outside of their own, I guess you could say realm, their own world and reality, it's like they'd be surprised at how much they learn. So, and I'm saying this in regards of just the hatred towards Ripple and the digital asset XRP, that this community has been scrutinized for years, way before this lawsuits dropped. And it's like, even still to this day, there's still so much hatred in what they call it, tribalism within the crypto space in general. But it's like, even there's XRP holders that have certain tribalism. There's some maxis in our community that have, certain reservations on other assets. Like, well, have you taken the time to look into those communities and look into those builders and devs and see what that use case and utility is for that project? Or are you just so, closed off to your own world and what you want to believe? I thought this was pretty profound, and I want to shout out Eleanor Turret for all her strong work, and even this is huge. So consider my mind officially blown. I'm curious to see if she's going to actually put some more stuff in regards of like some of her major points or major things that she found the most interesting throughout the series. Moving on here, this is from John Deaton. It says, just watch David Lynn TV interview Kevin O'Leary, and this dude still claims CZ is the reason hardworking people lost their money, and not because his buddy Sam Bankman-Fried is the Madoff of crypto. It is mind-boggling to watch O'Leary deflect blame. I mean, I haven't seen. I actually want to see the clip. I'm gonna go through some Twitter feeds here and see if I can find some clips from it. But speaking of this word "mind-boggling" I've been using it like crazy like the past few months, and I've been seeing a lot of people use it as well. And I think it does a great job of kind of just I guess you could say illustrating or kind of expressing like how like blown away or like how shocked or like how confused things can be. But like, it's like, really? Are you serious? And I just love it. My buddy actually said it today when we were playing hoop. This is from Stefan Huber, or Mr. Huber now. It says, remember, in everything remember, in everything FTX did, their legal counsel was Sullivan and Cromwell. So we all know about Sullivan and Cromwell. Continuing over here, this is interesting right here. It says, it's from Watcher Guru, just in. 1 in 3 U.S. Congress members received campaign donations from Sam Bankman-Fried and other FTX executives, CoinDesk reports. So if you come down here, it says, CoinDesk has reported that U.S. Congress has 196 members who took contributions from FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried. I'm curious to see if we're ever going to know who took it, who they are. Because, I mean, once that information comes out, I mean, you know, the Twitter sleuths and the XRP community and other people that are looking into this thing are going to start diving down that rabbit hole and starting to see connections, connecting more dots and getting more information. It's crazy, man. It's hard for them to hide the shady stuff that they do, man. We'll see what comes out of it. This is from Cointelegraph right here. It says, crypto stocks surge, Coinbase up 69%, MicroStrategy up 74% since the lows. Crypto-related stocks, ETFs, and tokens have all surged in the price so far in 2023, despite experts expecting the Federal Reserve to continue hiking interest rates. So there's been a lot of speculation as to, you know, what's going to happen with our markets. You know, is this the turn of the bear market and turning into the bull market? You know, is this just a phase? If this is a fake out, you know, where we're going to go? There's so many analysts speculating on what things look like and where they're going. And I like what Ben Armstrong says here, because I think it's interesting. So let me come back here. So whatever happens within our space, it's almost merely interesting. All these guesses and probabilities, you know, people find interest in it, and that's kind of what they do. That's how they invest. Cool, whatever. At the end of the day, we're just kind of going through the ebbs and flows of the market cycles. I mean, that's what history has proven. Obviously, there's a lot of, capitulation events, black swan events, all these other negative things that can obviously suppress, or good things that can spike out, give us some green days and some massive green candles, whatever the case is. I just want to say, be wary of who you follow. I've followed a lot of people that, you know, I valued their content and valued their input, and completely got wrecked. You know, some of them turned out to be scammers. And this is from the early days of my time in the space. So you got to be very careful who you follow. Do your best to get as much information as you possibly can. Educate yourself. You know, don't just look at fundamental analysis. Don't just look at technical analysis. Look at all aspects of the market and what it has to offer, and formulate your own opinion and your own investment strategy, and protect yourself. And when it comes to leaving your stuff on exchanges, I'm going to continue to say this: make sure that you self-custody. Learn about how to do that, because as we can see, a lot of these platforms and exchanges have been decimated, and people lost their assets. That's tragic. And I wanted to end on this from Ben Armstrong, because I thought it was intriguing. It says, how long will the bears hold on to the more pain narrative? So let me get this straight. Second biggest exchange in the world capitulates, and you want more? He says, sorry, Binance isn't folding, folks. Not sure where they plan on getting another capitulation. So this is a good point. So who knows what's going to happen with CZ and Binance? Obviously, it's a massive exchange. There's apparently an investigation that's been going on for years against them. And obviously, Kevin O'Leary and Sam Bankman-Fried and the likes are trying to blame the collapse of FTX on CZ and Binance. Who knows what's going to happen, right? It's all he said, she said. It's just a waiting game to see what happens. But he has a point here. It's like, what are you waiting for? If you're truly, expecting a lower price, and you're expecting, your certain target to get hit, what happened when the prices were already decimated? Typically, based on, my experience in the markets, I've done it myself, and even hearing other people's testimony, when you say, oh, I'm going to invest when we hit this, when we get down to those levels, you'd be surprised at how many people actually pull the trigger. I'm trying to sit here and tell you, based on my own, losses, bad trades, bad investments, meaning like just lack thereof education and time and experience in the space. Like, if you really feel like you want to get in and you want to accumulate a portfolio, just do it. Dollar cost average. Like I said, research as much as you can, take in as much information you can, and formulate your own investment strategy. Don't wait for particular numbers. You can have a certain amount of money allocated for those lower price targets or whatever the case is. Yeah, that's cool. Do that. But just realize, make sure you do. If you want to put skin in the game, put skin in the game. Obviously, it's never financial advice, but if you want to put skin in the game, do it. You don't want to miss out, because who knows? We could just blast off it and never turn around. Who knows? Obviously, there's been a lot of crazy things that's been happening in our markets and affecting our markets. So you definitely don't want to miss, that train or that boat, however you want to say it. But I think it's interesting, because it's like, what else can happen? I had a video I think it was 2 or 3 days ago, where I was saying is Gary Gensler in the SEC is the final boss. So if you're a gamer, you know what it's like completing the game and fighting the final boss. And I feel like Gary Gensler and the SEC are like the final black swan event for this market cycle in regards of like the bear or the downside. So that's just my personal opinion. So I can see, you know, not CZ, Gary Gensler and the SEC going after, you know, Binance or something, or you know, some other major exchange, or something crazy happens to where we do get, you know, maybe a possible lower price target. I can see it happening, but then again, I can see this thing kind of, as they say, going sideways for a year or whatever, 6 months to a year, and then we're in our, you know, we have our Bitcoin halving, and then we blast off into another bull market. It can happen both ways. Quite honestly, when it comes to my investment strategy, I haven't invested in a while, but when it comes to mine, it's just like I'd rather just allocate, you know, certain percentages, dollar cost average, because the price always fluctuates and changes all the time, and just hold it over the long haul. I really see it as like a retirement plan for myself somewhere down the line. Obviously, I got some that I can sell in the next coming years or whatever, but like I'm talking 5 years, 10 years, and moving forward, because I truly have high conviction for this space. But you got to do what's best for you. I just thought this was interesting. That's what I have for you. Make sure you come to the Crypto is Key Conversation YouTube channel. Subscribe. Follow us on Twitter at Crypto is Key. I really appreciate your support out there. With all that being said, stay strong out there and be safe.